have found Authentic Business Adventures, the business program that brings you the struggle stories and triumphant successes of business owners across the land. We are locally underwritten by the Bank of Sun Prairie. My name is James Kademan, entrepreneur, author, speaker, and helpful coach to small business owners across the country. And today we are excited to learn from Kevin Peterson of Peterson Technology Group. So Kevin, how are you doing today?
Doing great. It's a beautiful day out there. A little bit cold, but that's okay.
It is, yeah.
It's winter in Wisconsin. What do you expect?
What are you going to do?
Yes.
So Kevin, I've known you for probably the better part of a decade, maybe
Something
more.
like that.
And I don't know your story. So how long has Peterson Technology Group been around?
We are in year 18.
18.
So October 15th of 2004.
All right. Well, congratulations.
Thank you. It's been a fun ride. I love it. I wake up every morning knowing that I and my staff now are making a difference.
Nice. Very cool. And how many staff do you have now?
So we have a mix. We have a 24/7 support desk. So we've got basically that's a sort of a shared and a cooperative situation with other companies. So we're staffed over 40 for that. But then I've got a good local team as well for on-site work, troubleshooting, installing new computer networks, project management, things like that.
All right.
And then also there's always for flex stuff a couple subcontractors as well thrown in the mix. So it's a good group.
So let's start with when you first got started. So 18 years ago.
Yes.
You decided, screw this noise, I'm going to start my own IT company. What was the noise going on?
Well, actually, 18 years ago, so October 14th, I got let go of my prior company that I was trying to start. There were 4 of us partners, one majority partner who held 55%, and there were some issues, ended up being some ethical issues, and it was done. So we were trying to come up with an amicable solution where I could exit gracefully over a period of months. I happened to find out one afternoon that that was going to be my last day.
Oh,
so
by the way.
Exactly, by the way. And I had the name Peterson Technology Group, email, and domain the next morning, and I had 3 clients to start with.
Wow.
And so I'd like to say that I had a lot of thoughtful planning. I had a great business plan, and I knew what I was going to do. No, I had 4 kids, I had a wife, I needed money, and I had 3 clients, and so I started a company.
Wow. So the company prior that just kind of went south more or less, was that an IT company as well?
It was. We were doing a little bit different things. So we were doing more nationwide, some high-end project management, a lot of staff augmentation on government projects.
All right.
So very little similarity to what we're doing today.
Okay. And how long did that gig go for?
2 years. So a little bit, about 2 years or so.
So a little while.
So, yep. We
rocky
tried.
2 years, I imagine.
It was with a former boss of mine who was the owner, and we were trying to do some things. They just didn't work out the way I wanted them to, and he owned the company, so it was his decision, and so that's where I decided, and one of the partners decided it was time to step back and step out. Again, I was hoping for a little bit longer duration. Again, when you have 4 kids and family and house, mortgage, you want some notice, but I got about 4 hours notice. So,
ready or not, here you go, deep end.
Well, the nice thing, while I can't say I was happy at that point. I don't know if I would have started Peterson Technology.
Fair.
I am not a risk taker by nature. I'm calculated. I like to plan out sometimes too much. And so I got a kick in the butt by being let go. I had no choice. And so that's why I started the second company. Similar, the first company. So the first company that I started, the only reason I started that was I got let go from, or my contract ended. I had a long-term contract with the state that ended October of 2001.
Okay.
Well, if you think back, 20 some odd years ago, what had just happened? 9/11 had just happened, a month before, and the horrible, awful tragedy of that. You then deal with the economy had tanked. Well, the IT economy tanked even more than the normal economy. No one was hiring. I was interviewing for positions right and left. I came in first and numerous, but they decided, stop, we're putting the brakes on. We can't hire because I don't know, we're not going to be around potentially in 6 months. So
Y2K didn't cause anything, right?
It wasn't Y2K, it was 9/11, really, and just the fact. So I spent through March or April of 2002 studying, getting some certifications, trying to find a job, and I had a younger, I had 3 kids at that point, including one who was pretty young, so I spent a lot of afternoons reading these really thick books that put you to sleep, but I had a nice sunspot, and I was able to snuggle with, at that point, my young daughter.
Oh, nice.
And so I took plenty of afternoon naps while trying to figure out, and then around April, May of '02, that's where I joined this first startup for a couple of years.
So when you went to your wife and you're like, hey, I can't find a job, I'm going to start my own gig with these guys.
Yes.
Was she like, great, that sounds like a fantastic idea? Or was she like, are you sure you applied everywhere?
My wife is an angel. I don't deserve her. She was on board. She had more of that entrepreneurial spirit, more from her parents. So her mom was a school teacher for, I think, 39 years, wonderful lady. Her dad, though, owned a small business doing, in the fire industry, as far as checking fire detectors, within companies, servicing them, items like that. And so that was his own company, and so had that background. My parents had that, and so I wanted that. But again, I'm not the risk taker, as I told you. So she was on board. She trusted me. That doesn't mean it was easy. We, 3 kids at that point. And including one in high school, I think one in middle school, and then a very young one at that point. And our, if you will call it fun money for the month, was about $25 a month that we would go to Taco Bell once a month.
Wow!
And that money was given to us by a friend. Our budget could not afford it. We didn't have any money at that point. We hadn't saved anything.
Oh, so no!
Some really smart financial moves.
Yeah, wow.
We had very little savings.
All right.
Had mortgage. We had some bills, other bills. At that point, we had 2 cars. We decided to take one off of insurance. We didn't drive it. Actually, it ended up having some issues anyway, so we couldn't sell it, but we just stopped driving it. So we shared a car, and we struggled and we survived. We still look back. Now it wasn't the same back then. We weren't smiling and saying, this is fun. But we look back, some of those times going to Taco Bell and just enjoying it once a month, the family bonding with the 3 kids and Barb and I, it's amazing. And we still look at those times and just say, those were some of the best times, even though we were scraping by on $0 coming in for over half a year.
All right.
And with no planning, which I should have done, but I hadn't. And so my wife was a stay-at-home mom, and so she was not bringing in income either. And so, yeah, we had $0 coming in for over half a year. And we survived.
All right.
There were times that unknown friends, we had money show up at our door.
Oh, wow.
Still to this day, don't know who it was, but it was the exact amount that needed to cover checks that basically had R or B, in the note, so you knew it was going to bounce.
Yeah.
And just the exact amount we needed that month.
Wow.
So
that's cool.
It was great times looking back. It was not fun going through it.
No, I bet not.
But that's part of the story. That's part of what made me who I am.
That's the whole thing, right? Yeah. Someday we're all going to look at this and laugh.
Exactly.
How about today?
Yes.
Yeah.
Going through it, you don't laugh. Afterwards, you can laugh.
Yeah, I get it. You survived. Chalk it up to experience and move on.
Exactly.
That's cool. So you start your own gig, and this is 2002, 2004?
2002 is when I joined the first company that we were starting. In 2004, I started Peterson Technology Group.
Gotcha. And did you bring along anybody from the other?
No.
You just walked away?
I just walked away.
Or got kicked out? One of the two.
I was on my way out. Again, I mentioned there were some issues and struggling, so I wanted it to be a couple months separation, but no, I left at that point.
All right.
And had 3 clients. There was a division that they stopped doing because I was trying to lead that, so they stopped doing it, and they were fine with me taking these 3 clients. It wasn't that I stole them; they were fine with them leaving because that was not a core part of what they wanted to do anymore.
All right.
So again, I had 3 clients day one, and we did some fun projects for some big companies at that point then.
Okay. So bigger IT projects, it's got to bring in some cash to level the ground a little bit, or feed you at least.
Well, at that point things were doing better. Yes, we were doing more than Taco Bell than once a month, and we could afford some groceries, and we had the second car at that point. So yes, so things turned around from a financial perspective in that first company is where the turnaround started. So that first company, from a providing the income we needed, did what it needed to do. It took a few months to get off the ground. The first paycheck I got from that first company was the end of June 2002. There were 2 of us, both of us in similar situations, except I had 3 kids, he had 1. We split $600.
Oh.
So he got 300 and I got 300, and we both ran to the bank to cover stuff.
All right.
That was the first paycheck I had in about 9 months.
Wow. We're getting sour cream on our tacos. That's a big day.
No, not yet.
No, not yet.
Just the free sauce packets.
Not yet.
But
That's
it
awesome.
improved. I mean, that was early.
All right.
That was early to mid 2002. I stayed there until October of 2004. That company was doing very well, and so they were able to provide for me. We had by 2004 when I left, we had our fourth child. Financially, though that company didn't provide health insurance. So I've also gone through paying for everything from a birth from a child, and that is very pricey, let me tell you. Not something you want to go through when you're not
You
insured.
paid cash to have a kid.
Well, yes.
Wow.
Yes. You don't want to do that.
No.
No, you don't.
No.
It's a lesson learned.
Yeah, all right.
But there were no insurance benefits at that point. Our insurance started the next month.
Oh, nice.
Yes.
Nice. Hold on to the kid.
Well, that's not the way it happens.
No,
so
I get it.
From the time you know you're pregnant, if you don't have insurance, you pay for the kid 100%.
Oh, there's no just like, hey.
At least that's what it was. He's now 18, so 18 and a half years ago,
All right.
that's what it was.
It's interesting. I read this book. I want to say it was The Great Game of Business or something of that nature, about this guy that has a machine shop for big Caterpillar engines and all this kind of stuff. And he's complaining about the price of health insurance. And I'm like, I got this book at the library for $1. I'm like, it's not new. So I looked at the publishing date. It was 1992. I'm like, they were complaining about health insurance back then?
Everyone, it's a standard, and that's life. I mean, there are things
Apparently.
I can change, and there's things I can't. I can't change that,
Right.
so I'm not going to spend my time, complaining about it.
Yeah, it was just interesting that from, this book, all the stuff that's going on, he's talking about employees, blah, blah, blah.
Yes.
Health insurance was still an issue back then. So,
Yep.
I don't know, it was just one of those weird.
People always have something to complain about. I'm not saying that it's
Oh,
not.
yeah.
I'm not saying it's not legitimate to complain about health insurance.
Yeah.
I'm just saying that if all the problems that we have today going on, are solved, there will be new problems.
Oh, we create some.
Exactly. Exactly. And then there's problem solvers to come up with a solution. That's why the people who can innovate, and help with solutions, save time, save money, save people, that's great. And so, our society rewards, those people. Those people have the ability to do things that I can't do. I'm not an innovator. I've been wrong on almost every prediction. Back to when Microsoft Windows first started. We do a lot of work with Microsoft Windows.
Yeah.
I'm showing my age here. I've worked on stuff prior to Windows being, released. I
All
thought
right.
Windows was not needed. There
Oh,
was something
funny.
called Microsoft DOS, and that's what everything ran on. It was Windows wasn't needed. A mouse wasn't needed. It was a waste. And so I've been wrong on every single technology prediction in my life.
That's fair. I'm right there with you because I remember seeing someone that had a kind of a tablet. I don't know if they called them tablet, but the little scribble pad with a pen.
Yes.
And it was that or a mouse. And I thought, why would anyone get a mouse?
Uh-huh.
The scribble pad's way more practical.
Exactly. iPhones were dumb, I thought. iPad, who needs that? I had a CD player, so, but, there are early adopters. I'm just not one of them.
Fair. Totally fair. So you start your business, you have your customers. How or when do you decide, hey, I should probably market to grow this thing?
So that was late. So again, we've been around. We're in year 18, and I was a solopreneur. So I was the only employee for over a decade. I had some
Really?
I had some subcontractors.
Okay.
So we had some long-term projects. I had a friend, Stuart, who was a subcontractor for probably about 2-3 years on a project we did for the university. Did a lot of fun things, and we made a lot of good money. We did a lot of great work and fun projects, but something wasn't sitting right in me. It wasn't what I wanted to do.
Okay.
While I love working on technology, I love dealing with clients and doing what's right for the client, and we were doing that, I just felt that I wasn't making enough of a difference. Remember I mentioned when we first started that I wake up each morning knowing that at Peterson Technology, not just myself, but my staff, we're making a difference. That was slipping.
Oh.
I really didn't feel like we were making a difference.
Okay.
The clients we were serving were the larger enterprises, and this is not a knock on any of the large enterprises. I just didn't feel what we were doing were making a difference for them.
All right.
And so because of that, I started talking to people. I hired, I had no clue what a business coach is. I know that you do great stuff. I didn't know of you, and you actually weren't around at that time
right?
coaching. So I hired a great business coach about 9 years ago, and been working with her since then. So she's still my coach to this day
Nice.
on things as far as marketing. I thought sales were evil. You think of salesmen. For me, it was the used car salesman.
Sure.
The slick stuff from the movies, and that's not knocking used car salesmen because they're neat and they're very good. I just had mental trash in my brain.
Well, you're
as
probably
far
not
as what they
alone
were.
there. No.
Right. So I've bought plenty of used cars, and I think all the salespeople that I've dealt with have been great. We just bought one from a client of ours about a year ago, and it was a great experience on a used car. I just had mental trash about it. And so I was, figuring what I saw probably in movies type stuff or just someone had told me about, that's what sales was. So I hated sales. I hated marketing. I didn't know what they were. I didn't know what numbers to track. I thought any revenue was good, not necessarily good revenue. I didn't know the difference between top line money and bottom line profits, realizing that you want to make sure you have both.
Vanity and sanity, right?
Exactly. You want the bottom line because that's what you can grow with. That's how you can hire more people. That's how you can serve more clients. If you're not profitable, you cannot expand to serve more. And so I've learned and still learning a lot of lessons, and we've actually fully revamped our business twice since actually we're in the third iteration at this point.
Wow.
We're still dealing with technology,
Right.
but the clients we serve and how we serve them, and we're happy about it. So the last big shift was almost 4 years ago. We stopped chasing every client. We started to focus on typically service, industries that small to medium-sized companies in the Madison area that just need IT to work. They don't want to have to worry about the latest, virus or ransomware event. And when they have a problem, they want as-needed support, and they want a trusted person that they can or team that they can outsource to. And so we decided that's our focus. We're not going to take some of these giant, large companies necessarily and do a fun, sexy project just to stoke our egos, and we're just going to deal with clients that fit our niche. Yeah, we'll take a couple here and there at times because of some relationships, but we focus on small, medium businesses in the Madison area that we can do all their IT for them so they can just focus on their growth.
All right.
And the changes we made allowed us to not only stay in business, but thrive over the last 2 years. It's been tough for some industries. It's been tough for some companies. We've had growth, and we've helped our clients through struggles. So our rates have gone down as clients had issues in 2020 and some in 2021 with the pandemic. And so because of our relationships, we had no clients go out of business.
Nice.
We had some clients temporarily and also permanently, let go of staff, and because of that, our rates went down for them. But we've also had some clients thrive during that time, and so. But it's been learning the shift. It's been learning, what we need to do, how we can do it better, and for me, I've realized I need advice. I don't know everything. I'm very good at a few things, and for the rest of it, I outsource to trusted advisors, people like yourself. Again, I've known you for about a decade. You obviously need quality, you need people who have experience, but I knew nothing about sales. I knew nothing about marketing. I knew nothing about being a good employer or a leader or a boss.
Oh yeah.
We've all heard of what people call certain bosses. I was that guy.
Oh.
I was the yeller. I had unrealistic expectations.
All right.
I figured that my way of delegation was, here, get it done, and you need to read my mind to know exactly how it needs to be done.
Oh.
Well, that's pretty stupid, to be fully blunt.
It's not ideal.
It's stupid. Let's be honest here. I had to learn, and my coach has helped me through that. Some people who have left because of me, and some bad hires that I've made because I've hired the wrong type of person. We were talking before the show started, you hire on culture, you hire on fit, and you find someone who's trainable and teachable, and they'll be there forever. And so you invest in them. So I've had to shift over the last probably a good 5-6 years of hiring people and doing it all wrong, to now we have a system, and now we're hiring the right people, and we're training on some of the skill set if they're lacking in that, a certain skill set.
All
I love the people we work with, and I like to think I'm at least getting on the stage of being a better boss or leader.
Oh, we'd both like to believe that.
Yes.
I'm trying.
It's a journey.
I like to think that I'm getting better, but yeah, employees, our challenge, being a good manager, a good leader, sometimes you're just like, I don't want to be the micromanager.
Yes.
But on the flip side, how could you mess that up so bad? So I get it. It's a challenge.
It is, but you talk about messing up so bad. It's funny. It's hard for people like you and me who are leading people to let people mess up. But where I've grown and learned the most have been some really big mess ups. One of my biggest technology mess ups has been I brought down a whole lot of the UW system, UW-Madison network, in the middle of the day once.
Oops.
There was no approved change. It was either Wednesday or Thursday afternoon, about 3 p.m., and I brought Bascom Hall down. Bascom Hall is where the chancellor sits, the vice chancellor sits, the whole graduate school, the provost, the vice provost. There's a whole lot of classes there. So almost anyone who's anybody at the UW-Madison has an office there. And I single-handedly brought them down in the middle of the day.
All right.
And the nice thing is a couple things. I knew exactly what to do to get them back up. So I called a gentleman who worked there called Jim, and I told him exactly what to do to get them back up and running. I said, I'm going to call your supervisor to tell him why you're leaving your current job. So I called his supervisor, Joe, and explained what I did wrong. So I fessed up, first of all. I didn't try and hide the situation.
Very smart.
I probably could have hid what happened. I fessed up. And so that got things up. Within the hour, Bascom Hall back online. I did not get let go from that contract, because I had a long conversation with my supervisor, obviously, this will never happen again, but I proactively went to her and explained the situation, as well as her boss, what I'm going to change for my process for planning and notification, and I realized I just had to be a better engineer at that point. And so, do I want my engineers to take down a Bascom Hall network? No, but they'll learn a lot if they do, or when they do.
Really fast.
Mistakes happen.
Right.
And it's how you react to them. And so one of the hardest things I've learned as a leader is to let people make really big mistakes. Because if you make a really big mistake, you have two options. One, you can deny it and you won't learn from it, and then in that case, you'll probably be let go.
Right.
But you can learn from it. And if you learn what you need to change internally, then you've learned the lesson.
All right.
So
I like it.
it's hard. It sounds easy, but you know as well as I do, it's hard because you deal with client satisfaction every day.
Every day.
And I'm one of your clients. So if one of your staff messes up, am I going to be happy with you?
No.
And who am I going to call?
Me.
And I'm going to yell at you, right?
Yeah.
I mean, you don't want that, but your staff will learn something, hopefully.
Hopefully.
From that. Yes, hopefully.
I always say if I get a call from a client, it's past the level of mistake that they should make.
It could be.
Yeah.
It could be.
I mean, there's every once in a while, I get clients, I guess, that just have me on speed dial for, I think they just need a friend.
I don't think I've ever called you about a problem with any of your,
No.
So that's good.
The majority of our clients, if I get a call from them, I know, well, we messed up.
And that
On a grand scale, which means you just got to fix it.
And you take responsibility. You talk about what we did. I've learned one of my jobs has been you call the client, you explain we messed up. Sorry. Here's what we did wrong. Here's what we're doing to fix it, to make it right by you, James. And here's what we learned and what we're changing for our processes. My company is very big on process because we support people 24/7.
Have to.
And so a tech 2 a.m. on Christmas morning has to be able to do the same thing as a tech Tuesday at 2 p.m. And so processes and documentation are key. And so I can talk to you if we messed up something for you, how we're fixing our internal processes.
Right.
And then odds are that you'll be fine with that as long as we don't continue doing the same dumb thing.
Yeah, systematize everything. is the
Exactly.
rule.
Exactly.
Yeah, have to.
Yes.
It's interesting because we'll take on a client. We have a client now that we're having a hard time with because we'll ask them, they want us to price a product. We're like, okay, how do you price this product? Well, like, no, we need to create a black and white process so that all of our crew know, and if we get
Yes.
more crew, we can train them. And if you say, hey, we did that wrong, we can say, well, what part of the system didn't we follow or it needs to be tweaked?
Yes.
Instead of like, hey, you didn't read my mind right that day.
Exactly.
Oh, no. No
Yes.
mind reading.
Exactly.
No mind reading. So it's interesting. That's a huge thing. Huge thing. So 18 years, you got your first employee, you said 10 years in.
Probably close to 7-ish years ago or so.
Okay, all right.
I'm bad with dates, so about
Sure, ballpark,
6 or 7 years ago.
There's
yes.
not a quiz at the end, so it's
Not
all
a problem.
good. So when did you decide, or what was the triggering moment for you to decide, I got to get some help?
Sure. So part of it was I mentioned the reason I went to a business coach was I was no longer satisfied with what impact we were making.
Okay.
So yeah, the quality of the work, we had some really fun projects, but I didn't feel like I was making a difference anymore through Peterson Technology. And so I was going through the thought process: do I want to end it and get a job? I'm a horrible employee, so that really was out of the mix.
Right,
So
all right.
I had to come up with what did we want to do, and so a lot of that first couple of years was trying to figure out how could we make a difference, And so once we figured out what we wanted to do with the company, realized Kevin couldn't do it all.
All right.
So the first hire was actually an excellent administrator. So she was taking over details. I am not a great, follow through of keeping doing the same thing over and over, detail person. She was, and
right.
so she was doing things that I was letting slip where I didn't care about or didn't matter. She took care of them. So first was an administrator, because the rest were using a lot of subcontractors to do the work that I couldn't do.
Okay.
And so that was our first hire, and I don't think we hired a full-time technical person until a couple years later.
Oh, wow.
After that. So,
Okay.
because we hadn't known what we were going to do. We were still doing a lot of big projects at that point,
All right.
and hadn't made the shift to focusing on small, medium companies. So a lot of what we were doing, similar to how construction, there's the prime. We were one of the subs. We were
right.
one of the subcontractors
Okay.
for that. And so a lot of times you use subcontractors on construction jobs. We were one of the subs, and I was using subs as well as needed for projects. I stopped doing as much of the subcontract stuff after we started being the prime.
All right.
But we're the prime for a small, medium company. So we take care of all that integration, working with the vendors, things like that. Well, at that point, I needed staff. It wasn't because I couldn't do it 24/7. There was also too much work for one person to do
Right.
it. And if I wanted to grow, I have to focus on relationships. I have to focus on leading the team, figuring out what projects to bid on. You were talking about bidding for a new client.
Yeah.
And relationships. And so I had to step back from doing a lot of the day-to-day and trust the staff who are doing the day-to-day, whether it's operations or the technical side of things.
All right. I want to talk, I guess you alluded to it a little bit, about getting the projects for the bigger stuff. For a one-person show, that had to be tough.
It was tough. The way most of those projects came was because of relationships I had built over the years. I've learned you don't burn bridges. And so most of the subcontract work came because of 2 or 3 key relationships I had. They worked for larger IT companies in town, and they would win a project with one of the bigger companies, or university systems or state systems, and we would do the actual work.
Oh,
So
gotcha.
we were that
Okay.
subcontractor. So we were doing the work. It's a lot of these were year-long, a couple-year projects that we were doing, building out these big networks, putting in voice and video systems, a lot of security work. We were doing the work, but we were a subcontractor through that prime vendor, if you will.
Got it. Okay.
So-
That makes sense. That makes sense. Because when I had my printer repair company, getting into the bigger clients,
It's tough.
oh my gosh, or government stuff, it was such a headache. And I remember one, I put in a bid that was so low, it was essentially a test to see, like, if I put this for free, or like, I'll pay you to give us the job. Let's just see what happens. And of course we didn't get it, which
Yes.
thank goodness we didn't. 'Cause I don't know how we would have, like, it was set up so that I could not make money, but I wanted that, it was probably an ego thing, or a quick way to build revenue
You were looking at the top line.
kind of thing. So-
As we talk, top line, not bottom line.
yeah, it was one of those, like, I want to build, so let's just figure this out. But it was also one of those, I don't think there's anything I can put in here to get my company to get that. I feel like the
It's
decision's
tough.
already been made.
A lot of them they already are, or at least it's skewed, or towards a company or a person. We typically don't bid on things like that.
Okay.
We will at times, we have a couple larger clients that we do some work for. Typically it's because of a relationship that we've had. We still do a little bit of subcontract work. We're building out a SharePoint intranet site for a UW school at this point.
Okay.
We got that because of a relationship is what was introduced to us, and we showed them the quality of our work, and they fell in love with it. And
All right.
so we just started that project last month, and so yeah, we don't bid on the big ones. It's not our niche. We'll take a couple side projects here and there, but very few at one point.
Yeah, it's such a headache.
It is.
So time consuming.
It's time consuming, and you can make a lot of money. So I'm not knocking doing it, but it comes back to, remember why I said I wanted to, make a change. We want to make a difference. If we are enabling our clients to, whether it's a nonprofit that deals with human services, or a automotive dealer who sells and services new and used cars, or an accounting company to do yours, or the authentic business taxes, or whatever it is, we want to enable our technology to be more efficient to get them time and money back. So we are making a difference. Yeah, I may not be the doctor who's doing surgery, but we are important to enabling the professionals, the professional service organizations, the nonprofits to do their job, to do their mission for our nonprofit clients. And we enable them. We keep them secure because everyone hears of the latest crypto or virus threat or ransomware event that's going on. We protect from that. And we allow them to get more time and more money back. I'm big on efficiency and effectiveness. You don't want to waste time doing something, and you want to do it as effective as possible. Sort of the lean methodology that Toyota championed decades ago in Japan. If you can get better at something core and critical 1 second a day or 1 minute a day, that's awesome if you're doing that every day. So it's we've tried to figure out that lean methodology in the service side. Get 1 minute better every day on a certain thing. It doesn't sound like much, but how many minutes is over a year?
Oh yeah, it's forever.
And if you're saving 200 minutes on one task by the end of the year, that's gold.
Yeah, it's the quarter-degree turn on the golf club, right? That could
Exactly. Well, I don't golf because
I
I injure people.
Yeah.
But we shifted to small, medium businesses because we knew that we can make an impact and we can make a difference. Because if they get hit, by a virus, if their whole system is ransomware, the average ransomware payout these days is $570,000.
That's the average?
That's the average. How
Over
many small?
$500,000.
Over $500,000 is the average.
It's a thriving. Take my stuff. I'll start over.
Well, that's what actually happens to over 70%.
All right.
So if you don't, actually it's a thriving business because a year ago it was about 300,000.
Oh wow!
So
everything's going up. Inflation's crazy.
Yes, getting hit with ransomware is pricey. So
wow,
it's our job to make sure that doesn't happen. And so we're making a difference because if we're keeping small businesses going, it's not just the businesses. It's like my staff. By them keeping going, by them keeping secure, by them growing, they are providing that health insurance that I didn't have and I had to pay for my fourth son on my own.
All right.
They're able to take their kids out to more than just Taco Bell once a month because a friend gave them 25. That 25 bucks I talked about, that came from a friend.
Wow.
We didn't have that. They committed, it was a friend from Stoughton, they gave us a $25 check every month that they said have fun with it. If they didn't say have fun with it, we would have put it to bills.
Wow.
So by us focusing on small, medium businesses, we are making a difference by keeping the companies open, by them growing, they're hiring more people, and they are making more of that profit so they can expand.
Yeah.
They can expand, they hire more people. Small business drives Wisconsin's and the nationwide growth.
Fair. Totally fair.
And you know that. You're a small business owner. You talk to them around the country, your impact. So I mean, it's us small businesses that drive the economy. And I know you are making a difference and we're making a difference in them. And so, it sounds odd that for an old geek, I've been doing this for 3 decades.
Yeah.
For an old geek, I still wake up, I'm making a difference by what Peterson Technology does every day.
I get it though, because I tell my crew every day, I'm like, what you do a lot of times, like a lot of our clients don't necessarily say thanks or show appreciation how you would normally, but I'm like, that's because they consider you an employee.
Yes. A trusted partner.
Yeah, exactly.
Yes.
Exactly. There's a trust factor in there that you don't necessarily have to say thank you or appreciation kind of thing because you are just doing your job and you're so good at it. That's a non-issue.
But some appreciation for employees and for trusted partners is needed. I guess and that's not my nature.
Yeah.
I'm more like what you're saying that just success was doing it right and moving on. But I was actually my coach yesterday morning just said you need to stop, smell the roses, and celebrate the wins. So actually on our whiteboard in the office just yesterday morning I wrote on the top basically win wall, and we're just going to start small wins to big wins. We're just going to start putting them on there. And then not only the wins, but what are we going to celebrate them? So if we have a milestone, so a rock or a quarter goal, and we hit it, what are we going to do to celebrate? Why not? You got to have some fun, got to
Yeah.
enjoy it, even if it's just a lunch, an employee lunch.
Yeah.
It's something.
All right.
So
Is your crew all Madison based?
a lot of our crew is Madison based.
Okay.
Our support desk is not.
The reason I
yeah.
ask is probably fairly selfish, because my crew's all over the place. And so we're like, we should have a holiday party. How do we have a holiday party when
tough.
everybody's all over the place?
It's tough. We did, and it was good from a bonding perspective. We did a virtual escape room about a year ago.
Virtual escape?
Oh, it was good because we were all together. It was
All right.
horrible because think of an escape room virtually.
Yeah.
So I can't blame the company. They were trying to make money. I mean,
Mm-hmm.
they were shut down for in person, and so the way they did
This was a real escape
This was a
room that
real
just
escape room.
Kind of videoed around? What was
Well,
that going-
he had a smartphone on his head, if I remember correctly, sort of like a construction light, and he was going around. We would tell him, go to the right, look there, zoom in.
Oh.
It was horrible, but they were staying in business,
All right.
and
You adapt.
we adapted. It wasn't. I would never do another virtual escape room, but we at least enjoyed ourselves, and we had a good picture at the end.
All right,
So
fair.
yes.
We ended up Zooming, and one of my crew is a big trivia person. She goes trivia. I don't know if she does trivia or attends trivia once a week. But she ended up putting together this holiday movie trivia thing. It was a blast.
They're fun. Yep.
It was a blast. It still wasn't as cool as clinking glasses in person.
Yep.
But
But now there's more of that. I mean, and getting back to things like, it depends on if you're remote or not. I mean, if you have a full remote staff, it's harder. But yeah, you can still do some virtual
Yeah.
things. You can send, food to people's houses these days. There's ways to do that. So you can pay for the pizza or Chinese or whatever,
Yeah.
and you're good to go.
yeah, I've tried that. I was just like, go out to eat somewhere, send me the bill. And that was clunky.
Yes.
So
You want to make it simple.
I'm trying. Just go to Taco Bell. I'll give you a gift
Here's
certificate.
$25. Feed your whole family of 6.
Supreme.
Yes.
So, what have been some of the things that you've learned, I guess, over the course of time, as far as how IT has changed? Because I mean, Dropbox wasn't a thing. Was it 17 years ago? The internet was way different then.
Yes.
I mean, I imagine ransomware was more like $5.
There was no such thing 18 years ago as ransomware.
Yeah.
You're right. So some of the things.
Dial-up was too slow for it, right?
Well, yes, part of the issue is now, I mean, everyone wants a gig speed. I mean, you can do a whole lot more with the security threats and issues that are out there because it's so available. There are nation-state governments paying people. They're in high-rise, cubevilles in foreign states hacking 8x5. That is their job, round the clock.
Wow.
And they are trying to get into your network or your mother-in-law's network at home, and it's shifted. So it used to be targeted. They didn't like you, or you were part of an industry that they didn't like. There's still some of that going on, but right now it's all about the money, which is typically in Bitcoin. And so they want your money, either you as an individual or your company. And if you think of it, if they can get 10 small businesses, to pay, a smaller ransom versus, one medium size, it's much easier to get in the small and they'll pay as well. So it's actually more profitable going after some of the small, medium businesses than some of the larger ones. So more of the threats are actually against the small, medium businesses these days for a couple reasons. Typically, it's easier to get in.
All right.
Because you don't have, you may be trying it by yourself, or I've got a friend of a brother who used to be able to spell IT, and he put together our network 10 years ago, and it still works for me. Well, I could get into that one, and so that's not secure. So you deal with that, and then you deal with people that just don't know any better. A lot of my job is to educate, be on things like this, or educate on what you need to do from a security perspective and why, and then show them how they can do it, whether they do it on their own or they have us do it. Doesn't matter, but here's what you need to do so your business is protected.
All right.
But you were talking about what's changed. Yeah, a lot of it's been the security threats. There were threats, but it was a lot harder and they were more targeted. The internet is everywhere these days, and it's global. Everyone has Microsoft 365 or Gmail. There's VPN, so you can mask where you're coming from, and the threat surface is international for everyone. And so it's about limiting that threat surface is one of the key things. But I'd say the biggest thing has just been the threats out there. They're everywhere. I mean, big companies, the government's being hacked at times. I mean, you've got pipelines being shut down. You've got HR systems. The company my son works for, their HR system went down because it was hacked before Christmas, and it's still down.
All right. Well, it's an interesting one. I was thinking, like, what would we do if our time clock went down?
You go to manual.
Yeah. I mean, it's
Or you go out of business.
Well, no, we still paid the employees.
Yeah.
I remember I had a few websites that were hacked, and it's funny because I was like, these websites, they're for way infant clients that were in this business starting class. I mean, if those websites had 5 visitors in the month, it was monumental. And I'm like, how did the hacker even find this website?
Yes.
Because the rest of the world apparently hasn't. And what is the goal? I felt like, was this practice? Is this like the job interview at Hackerville?
Well, it could be junior level. One, I had someone who called, it was either last week or the week before. She was a solopreneur, so she has a full-time job, or she has a job, but she's trying to get a company up on the side. And she found out recently that her website had been hacked and her email redirected to a foreign country. And she was getting no leads. Think of how well your business would do as if you had 0 leads coming in.
Yeah, that's a big deal.
So I put her in touch with a great website person to make some changes. Has to be secure. It hadn't been touched in years was the problem on her website. And she was at the point, do I just shut down my business because I'm not having any revenue coming in on this? And so that's, I guess, the focus and the impact. So she is not a client. She's not a right fit for us, but I was able to get her in front of some experts who were a better fit for her on the website side. But yeah, the impact is it's financial. If they can get a lead coming to, that's thinking it's coming to, actually it was a Sun Prairie company, if I remember correctly, coming into a Sun Prairie company, but it's pretending to be overseas, that could be revenue for them.
Dang.
It's all about the money for almost all the time for the hacking.
All right.
Beyond some foreign state stuff. You hear of the foreign states trying to shut down other foreign states. Beyond that, it's about how much Bitcoin can you get.
All right. Yeah, it's interesting that when our websites got hacked, this is probably, I don't know, 5 years ago maybe?
Ouch.
Yeah, there was no request for money or anything like that. It was just, I think they were redirecting to advertising sites.
Yep.
Or something like that.
Probably getting paid by click type
Maybe.
stuff. So if someone went on yours and got redirected elsewhere, they might get a little bit per click
we didn't
through.
have any traffic.
They may not have known that.
Maybe.
So yeah.
Sorry, you got an extra 20 clicks that month. It was weird.
Which isn't a lot. But remember, there are people who are doing this. This is their full-time job. 20 clicks doesn't sound like much, but if it took them 2 minutes to do that.
Oh, I hope not.
And if it just, well,
I get what
it's
you're
simple.
saying.
Because there's automated scripts. They're running automated scripts. They're not doing it manually. They're automating. There's automation going on. And so they're looking for weaknesses. When they find a weakness, they have a known program that exploits that weakness. They don't write something custom each time. Anyone can buy ransomware. It's for sale on the dark web. You just tell people how much you want to pay, what you want the ransomware to say, and what industry you want to target. Wow. And it's written for you.
All right.
Now, hopefully the FBI will arrest you for this, but on the dark web, you can do that. And that's how a lot of it is done. It's just recurring. And so, yeah, a lot of, again, I know I've said this a few times, but a lot of what we do is talk about why you need to secure yourself and how to do it. It changes. It used to be buy Norton, buy McAfee, buy some antivirus, and that's all you needed to do.
All right.
That was it. Nowadays, if all you have is an out-of-the-box antivirus that you bought from your computer or wherever, you'll be hacked.
All right.
Guaranteed.
Dang. I always felt like Norton was more of a virus than some of the viruses.
Well, it slowed your computer down way much. So yes.
That was way back when.
Yeah, so it was horrible, that whole suite. So no one liked it, but it did a good job of protecting you back then. So, but it slowed you, so you were very ineffective.
The computer's not hacked. It's unusable.
Yes. They forced you to upgrade frequently.
Yeah. Interesting. So what have been some of the things that you've learned over the course of time from a business point of view?
I've learned and I'm still learning.
Okay.
So I'll qualify everything that I will tell you that I've learned.
Yeah.
I'm still in process.
Fair.
That's part of why people ask me, you've had the same coach for almost a decade. Are you that dumb? It's not, well, I am
that's a
slow.
brutal question.
Well, Part of it, because we pay coaches
Yeah.
a good amount of money. You are worth what your clients pay you. I know that. It's but you provide a great service. My coach provides a great service as well. I'm learning a lot, so I may be learning the same thing, but I'm 4 steps down from when I learned it 3 years ago. So
All
I've
right.
made progress. So so it's a ladder as far as getting to that expertise and then beyond of it. So I've learned that I don't know a lot. There's a few things that I'm great at. But we've outsourced some of our marketing,
right.
search engine optimization, things like that, to professional companies and people who can figure out what's needed on our website, figure out who type of lists to call, figure out great content. Now we're writing some of the content, but as far as getting it out in front of the right eyes, I couldn't tell you the best ways to do that.
All right.
I have people who do know how to do that. We outsource our bookkeeping and our financials. We outsource our legal services as well. We outsource actually everything except providing technology services.
Perfect.
That's about the only thing that we have that we don't outsource because we're great at it.
Right.
But every other professional service that you talk about, we don't own our own building. We rent. And so we've got a cleaner that comes in. Is there stuff that we could do? Sure. Why? There's people who do that. They do it much better than we do, and it's not worth our time. So my time and my staff's time is valuable.
Agreed.
And I want us to be focused on either clients, on my staff getting better, so sort of that education, continuing education side, or planning, what are we going to do next quarter? How are we going to improve? Systems. You talked about, it's all systems, systems. How do we improve our systems? Get that 1 minute better today. And so we outsource everything beyond what we're really good at, which is providing that high-end technical support, project services, and the security. So the security, education, consulting, and protection for small medium businesses.
Yeah.
The rest of it we have partners.
Nice.
Why should I try and reinvent the wheel when there's an expert?
Fair. Totally fair.
Yep.
What do you see for your business in the next we'll call it 5 years? Technology's changing too much to go beyond that.
Yes. I will not make a guess as far as technology
All
because, as I've told you before, I'm wrong on
Fair.
most of those. But a lot of it is, some of the shifts that we've seen over the last 2 years. The shift of people working from anywhere had already started. 2 years ago in March, it accelerated because there were industries, think of call centers. Most call centers were working in a secure facility for privacy reasons. Well, in March and April, May timeframe of 2020, a lot of them went home. And they were working from home. And so regulations caught up, contracts caught up with that. So the shift for continuing to work from either home or elsewhere. So like you said, you have employees all over the country. That is now easily done, as well as keeping employees and your data secure because of technology. You can have people overseas as well, depending on relationships and contracts if desired, and we have some clients that have that. And so the ability to hire people or work from anywhere. Now you have to figure out culture. There's still something to be said about being in person, having a one-on-one staff
definitely.
meeting, being around a table, joking around or having lunch, whiteboard planning. So you have to figure out from a leader perspective what's needed from a hybrid, in-person, or remote. But I think that shift of people being able to work from anywhere, any device, whether you have an iPhone or larger screen, a Microsoft Surface, or if you need if you're in the office, you need 4 screens. Being able to do your job anywhere, there's less need to be in the office from a technology perspective. Security is going to be continually changing. People are going to have to realize that what's being done today is not what's going to be needed 2 years from now. And then again, in another 2 years, you're talking 5 years. So security, the biggest thing with security is the education. We've learned, we educate our client staff, and they want to do the right thing. They want to stop the phishing emails, the fake Amazon returns that everyone's getting. We show people how to spot that they're fake. Most people, I've found, at least at our clients, are dedicated employees. And if we train them a little bit, they will do a better job of not clicking on things they shouldn't click on. And so it's going to be what type of security, but it's still going to be the education side of things. And artificial intelligence and more machine deep
Oh, sure.
deep learning.
Yeah.
So I'm not talking about like the Terminator,
Not yet.
type stuff. I'm hopefully not around.
It's 2029. Right?
Yes. So I'm not talking that, or what was the Will Smith movie, the iRobot. I'm not talking about that. But you see now some restaurants have artificial intelligence doing certain tasks. They're on the manufacturing floor doing certain tasks. There are things that, if you call it a robot, AI, artificial intelligence, pick it, that can do certain tasks. Now they still have to be taught and programmed, but there's ways to do deep learning. So which is scary yet exciting to know that you can actually create something that can actually get better at what it does, which right now we're using some deep learning security packages. So when there are new security threats out there, some of our software will pick it up. It doesn't matter how new it is. So what's called zero-day threats, by using deep learning, you can actually, it can evolve and change over time. Again, not getting that Terminator iRobot type stuff where we're trying to take over the world,
right.
The like. But where is artificial intelligence going to go? I don't know, but it's going to make big leaps in the next 5 years. I mean, we're now. Who would have thought even probably last year or 2 years ago that private enterprises would be shooting off spaceships?
Right.
I wouldn't have guessed that. I would have said, Jetsons are still a way off. But that happened, this year or last year. So,
or to land those ships on a little pad on the ocean.
Oh, that's amazing what they can do.
Somebody's good at math.
Yes, exactly. And there's always a very smart human, actually multiple smart people behind that. So yeah, you can say technology, technology, technology. You need people behind it.
Totally.
So the jobs will shift. It'll be more, you have to automate. You have to still monitor. You still have to alert. It's like some self-driving cars. Accidents happen. You can't just say, I'm going to, you need someone who's actively watching some of that and securing some of that to make sure that it's not hacked or that a problem doesn't happen. Everything that has, wheels on it or anything that has intelligence in it can fail. Or sorry, that has some technology in it. There can be a failure. And so you're going to have people who have to fix those things or who have to monitor those things or continually upgrade and improve those things. So the jobs will change. With the times, but it's going to be, I think, a lot with artificial intelligence and what they call deep learning. Right,
fair. Do you see yourself adding employees?
Yes.
Okay.
Yep, we're in a growth. We're actually looking for a sharp technician right now. So we're adding another full-time tech as we speak. We're looking for a full-time tech.
All right.
And yeah, I see us adding definitely more this year. We're in growth mode.
Nice.
And so it's nice that. Our clients are growing and expanding, as well as new leads and new clients are coming in and seeing the value of our services. And so, yeah, we're going to be expanding a lot this year.
Very cool.
So, yes.
Kevin, where can people find you?
You can find us online. You can go to www.petersontechgroup.com.
All right.
You can email us at info@petersontechgroup.com. You can call us at 608-371-1670. Again, 608-371-1670. Or info@petersontechgroup.com, or sales@petersontechgroup.com, whatever works best.
Nice. All the channels. I love it.
Yes.
Well, Kevin, thanks for being on the show. This is cool.
My pleasure, James. It was a lot of fun.
It's, IT is just one of those things where it's interesting because when I was when I had that printer repair company, I rubbed elbows with a lot of IT people. And it was interesting just to watch what they had going on because I'm more mechanical. I'm like, I can't see mechanical stuff in software. So I appreciate that there's people like you that work the magic.
That's what my team does. They do all the magic behind the scenes, you bet.
Cool. Awesome. This has been Authentic Business Adventures, the business program that brings you the struggles, stories, and triumphant successes of business owners across the land. We're locally underwritten by the Bank of Sun Prairie. My name is James Cademan, and Authentic Business Adventures is brought to you by Calls on Call, offering call answering and receptionist services for service businesses across the country on the web at callsoncall.com, as well as Draw In Customers Business Coaching, offering business coaching services for entrepreneurs looking for growth on the web at drawincustomers.com. And of course, the Bold Business Book, a book for the entrepreneur and all of us, available wherever fine books are sold. We'd like to thank you, our wonderful listeners, as well as our guest, Kevin Peterson of Peterson Technology Group. What's that website again?
PetersonTechGroup.com.
Easy enough. Past episodes can be found morning, noon, and night at the podcast link found at drawInCustomers.com. Thank you for listening and watching. We will see you next week. I want you to stay awesome. And if you do nothing else, enjoy your business.